Welcome to Pathways to Peace, creating peace inside and around us with emotional intelligence, or EQ. With your host, Matt Perelstein. In every episode, we explore the art, science, and magic of EQ for peace, power, and purpose in life. You can find this show at www.eqforpeace.org and on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. Now here's the host of Pathways to Peace, Matt Perelstein.
Hello. Here we go again. This is very fun for me. So welcome. Nice to have you here. And we're going to be talking today about positive mental health. As you probably know, mental health is struggling. We're struggling with our mental health in our lives these days, and the whole world is. And so I was challenged to trying to come up with the most important thing that we could talk about today, and I believe this is it. I believe this is the most important thing I can talk about today, is about how do we deal with us, how do we deal with our insides, and we're calling it positive mental health. Physical health, on the other hand, I have a couple of challenges. I now have two basically fatal diseases at the same time, which I'm laughing, but it's just because I'm shocked. I just realized it last night, but I have, along with my cancer, I also now have COVID. I tested positive yesterday, and I'm doing pretty good, but I have runny nose, so I'm going to be, excuse me, I don't want to be gross about it, but so better tripping on the keyboard. So I'm doing pretty good, but I do have COVIDs now, and so I assume I know a lot of people that have it, but it's doesn't seem to be affecting us quite as badly, hopefully, and I've been vaccinated and all that. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. We have a lot to do, a lot to talk about, and I'm going to show some PowerPoint slides. Go ahead and we'll show those. And if you can't see them and you want to see them, go on to either Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube and search for me, or if we're not friends, then let's be friends, or contacts on LinkedIn, and let's connect, and you can see the slides there. Otherwise, I will read them out. So let's get started. We're talking about positive mental health. So I would like to introduce you to it, show you the 3 steps that I've created for getting to positive mental health. We're going to do a quick assessment quiz later to see how you're doing, how well you handle your feelings. So you get out a pencil or a notepad or something, or type, and we're going to do a quick quiz. Then some action steps on how to get positive mental health into your life. I'd like to encourage you to make your emotions more important than they ever were. They're way more important than we ever imagined. I certainly didn't. And I think most of the world is pretty shocked at how important our emotions are. So we're going to be, that's what we're all on about. And so that's how we manage our mental health, is through our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, etc. So, and then once you find out about this, most people do not know. They don't have the slightest clue that emotions are the problem, and they certainly don't know that they're the solution. And so they're not looking for it. So we need to jump up and down a little bit about it and say, these emotions matter a lot, and teach other people about how this works. We can, with positive mental health, we can think better thoughts, left brain. We can think better thoughts. We can believe better beliefs. We can feel better feelings, our right brain. We can make better decisions after we put them together. We can take better actions. We can get better results, and we can live a better life. How's that? Pretty cool, huh? And it's all free inside of all of us. Free, completely free inside of all of us. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of magical. And I love talking about it, and it's making a huge difference for people. So you probably heard of positive psychology. For hundreds of years or however long, the purpose of therapy was to get people from their problem state, which was issues, disorders, pain, all that kind of stuff, the problem, and get them back to normal. So that's negative, back up to zero, basically. what Dr. Seligman said in the University of Pennsylvania. He said, you know what? I think we can actually do better than that. We can come way up here. We don't have to just stop at normal, coming back to normal. We can learn how to deal with our issues, which we do have to do, and that's what we're going to be talking about. We do need to learn with how to deal with our issues, but we don't have to just get back to okay survival kind of stuff. We can actually come way up here and learn how to be successful, how to be happy, how to be loving, how to be giving, all kinds of cool stuff. We can come way up here. And so, mental health, as you probably know, mental health has kind of a negative connotation to it. And so, I'm saying we don't have to we don't have to just deal with our mental health and come back to normal. We can do better than that. We can do better than that. We can come up. But we need to learn how to deal with our negatives. So that's trick part of this whole thing. It turns out that positivity is actually our natural state. We have two little wonderful, amazing granddaughters. One's just turned one the other day, and the other one's 3, and they're incredible, wonderful people. And excuse me, I've been watching them carefully. I'm fascinated by all this, but I watch them closely, and they are pretty darn happy, calm, loving, peaceful. Okay, they're just okay. That's their natural state. They came out that way. I've seen them since the first couple minutes, and they came out that way, and they're still that way. Then they have a problem. They deal with the problem, and then once they deal with the problem being a negative emotion, or they're hungry, tired, in pain, something like that, they got to get their diaper changed. Once they deal with that, then they come back naturally to their natural state, which is pretty happy and loving and calm and peaceful again. Pretty cool, huh? So what we need to do as adults is to learn how to deal with our negative stuff that's going on inside of us, so that we can go back to our natural state, which is to be positive. Pretty cool, huh? Again, no charge. No charge. It's say we just need to remove the negatives. I'm put just because that's no small feat. It's sometimes it's simple, but it ain't easy. It ain't easy. So we get back to it. One of the ways of doing that is what I call feel it to heal it. If we want to be happy, we dump our unhappy. We learn how to deal with our unhappy, and we can be happy again. We can be naturally happy like we were when we were born, or back when, younger, when things weren't such a drag. And so the way Myron or Doc Downing is one of my main mentors, and he has a wonderful way of putting things so that they're real simple. And I'm not that great on my IQ side, but I do okay with emotions. And so he comes up with these sayings that are quotable quotes, he calls them, and they're real simple, like this one: negative emotions expressed as intensely as they are felt in the body will reduce in intensity and are free to change. Which means, rough translation is, if you have negative emotions and you deal with them and you feel them and let go of them, then you can be back happy again, and quite naturally. It's pretty cool. So we can learn how to go down for the purpose of going up. Okay, this is kind of this high tech chart that I drew, which just meant if you go down, you can come back up and keep going up and keep going up, right? You get the idea. So there's 3 steps to positive mental health. 3 steps, and they are awareness. We got to be aware first. Always is the first step. Is what? Okay. You got to be aware first, or you can't do anything, right? One of Doc's quotes is, if you can't make logical decisions on things we're not aware of. Duh, right? But it's true. We got to be aware first. Second is acceptance. That seems like it's not that big a deal. It is. It's a huge deal. In fact, it's one of the most important things in here, is that if we don't accept, which we don't most of the time, by the way, we don't accept our feelings and other people's feelings, and we push them away, and we poo-poo them, and we lie about them, and we do all kinds of stuff because feelings are a bad thing in our society, in most societies. In our culture, we don't deal much with emotions, and we need to, obviously. But if we can accept that we are feeling stuff, that we have thoughts and feelings, and that we can, sometimes they're negative and sometimes they're not fun. But if we can accept that, and we can accept that we can roll with it, we can do things with it, we can make things happen with it. If we don't accept them, then look out. They're going to come back and bite us anyway. So I suggest you accept them and learn about them. And then once we're aware and we accept, then we can take some action. We can do something about it, or we can not. And that's up to us. And that's a cool thing. So step one is awareness. Step two is acceptance. And step three is action or no action. And with strong feelings, a lot of times, no action is a good action to take. Keep your mouth shut. It's a good idea. But the cool part is, with no action, is that you are deciding, which makes you in charge of you, which makes you in charge of your life. So let's start with step one, awareness. Back to awareness. So we can and need to become emotionally intelligent. That's called EQ. That's what we call it, being smart with our heart, right? We were born with everything we need. It's just that we don't know how to use it, right? The kids were born with their emotions intact. We have everything that we need physically. We just don't know how to use it. It's what we call I'm a computer dude, and we call it a training issue. The little joke is PEBKAC. I don't know if you guys know what that is. PEBKAC means the problem exists between keyboard and chair. What's between your keyboard and your chair? You, right? So it means it's a user problem. So anyway, so that's good news. That's good news. That means you have everything you need. You just need to have some education on how to use it. So no offense, but that's what it is. It's us. So what it does is emotional intelligence allows us to respond to things rather than react. That's a very, very big deal. We can respond. We can be intelligent about it. We can make decisions about what's going on, and we can come at it from a better point of view. We've used all the stuff, all the cool information that our body is giving us, our left brain knowledge and thoughts and cognitive and logic, right? We use all that, and our intuition, our passion, our creativity, our values, our things that matter to us. What do we care about? Our love. We put all that together, then we can make good decisions. If we're trying to do just cognitive, it's tough, because then your emotions get a mess and you never deal with them and that sort of thing. So I'm saying we got to balance them so that we can respond. We can respond in good ways, not just react. So it's one of the biggest problems, in my opinion. Lack of emotional intelligence is one of the biggest problems in the world today. Maybe some people are saying it is the biggest problem in the world, because all the other problems are based on that. We don't learn about emotional intelligence at school yet. Some now, some yay, and some in the United States and some other countries, it's now law, which is great. It's being mandated. Mental health training and that sort of thing is being mandated in schools. Yay, finally. We have a nonprofit called EQ for Peace, and we're trying to get emotional education. Here's my shirt. Ta-da. We're trying to get emotional intelligence into schools, emotional education into schools and work and home, worldwide, everywhere. And it's going well, because schools and teachers, they know that they need it. They know that they need it. Parents, not so much. And work are starting to, actually, a lot of work now is starting to realize how important the employees are, and that they're happy and that they're positive and they're motivated, and we have to do more with less. And so we better take care of our employees, and that's happening more and more, which is wonderful. So it's happening at work. It's sort of happening at home, and it is starting to happen at schools. But the problem is we didn't have any of that. We got to add it. We're studying ourselves. EQ is the study of ourselves, right? We learn all kinds of cool stuff in school. I was pretty disappointed with my schooling. Actually, it went all the way through high school and college. And at the end of it, I was like, that's it? That's it? Really? That's it? So I didn't know about me. I don't know. Are you happy with your schooling? I mean, did you learn about yourself enough to manage yourself once you got out of school? I didn't. I hope you did. If not, we got to learn it now. So It's learning how to, our inner world is this amazing place. So once you go in there, it's an amazing place. And I tell people that if you've never done any work on emotional intelligence work on yourself, there's whole parts of you that you've never met. You've never even met. You don't even know yourself very well, because there's whole vast amounts of you that are in your feelings and in the depth and in inside of you, in your passion and in your love and in your sadness and in your anger and in your fear. All that stuff is it's real, and it's you, and it's parts of you that you may not even know, and you might really like you. They're not, like I said, they're not always fun, but man, it adds such color and depth and width to life. Like if you like music and singing and art, right? You want to add to that stuff. You want to enjoy it more. Deal with your emotions. Deal with your emotions. Open up your heart and deal with your emotions, and you be able to experience life on a whole different level. It's really pretty amazing, and like I said, kind of magical because it's all free. It's all free. Um, my joke about this, I wrote this as a joke, like get a clue, get a grip, get a life, right? Get a clue, which means be aware, get a grip, figure out how, and then get a life. And I wrote that as a joke, and I taught it in one of these classes, and everybody, they were like, oh, that's great. That's exactly what I wanted. So I put it in here. I like doing hashtags because they're shortened things, and it kind of sums things up really quickly. So, Aristotle said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. I think that's a little bit severe, but you get the idea that we need to add emotional education as well. What we're dealing with is our thoughts, our feelings. We put those together and we make decisions, and then we act on those decisions. That's it. That's it. That's kind of, I mean, there's more to it, of course, obviously, than that. But basically, that's basically what we need to manage in ourselves: our thoughts, our feelings, our decisions, and our actions. There really isn't much else. There isn't much else. Our body, but that's an action usually. So it's kind of simple. Again, not so easy. We can learn about all kinds of different parts of emotional intelligence. Our awareness, we can be aware, we can identify what we're feeling. Literacy is being emotional literacy is about being able to speak about it. There's a whole language to emotions, which is really important to learn, a whole new language on it. Um, we need to be able to regulate and control our emotions for obvious reasons, and for relationships especially. We can Congruency is about what you see is what you get. Do you show up as who you really are? Are you feeling something and you show up as this? I used to do this all the time. As a codependent, as a good little codependent, I like, oh, everything's fine, everything's peachy, and I feel awful, but I'm looking like it's fine because I don't want you to be upset with me or reject me or not make, anyway. I didn't show on the outside what was going on in the inside. Now that I do, it's much easier, simpler, freer. I love it. So we can do what's called emotional congruency, and someday maybe we can get some emotional mastery someday. That's what I'm working on. So what I'm saying with positive mental health is that to be our best, we need to be able to handle our worst, right? Our biggest pain, our biggest fears, our biggest sadness, our biggest anger, all that stuff. If you can deal with that stuff, there just isn't much that life can throw at you that you can't handle. That's pretty cool, huh? There isn't much that life can throw at you that you can't handle if you can handle your big negatives, if you can handle your worst, quote unquote, right? That's pretty cool, right? So name it to tame it. I call it. That's what it is. One of my fun hashtags. Name it to tame it. Identify and separate your feelings. This is a chart I'm showing right now that shows the very basic feelings in the middle, the core feelings they call them in the middle, and then they go out to more specific, and they go out to more specific. I have a list of like 5,000 words in the English language that talk about feelings, that are feeling-based words. There's a lot of words. It's great to have a cool vocabulary so that you can explain at least to yourself, what the heck you're feeling, what's going on, what is going on. And so it's really, really helpful to name it to tame it. Sometimes that helps all by itself. You just go, oh, I see, that's embarrassment, or that's anxious. I'm anxious. I'm afraid about something might be happening in the future, that kind of stuff. And they're like, oh, okay. And it makes me make more sense to me. And it makes me, helps me see what other people, and other people make more sense to me, if I can figure out what they're thinking and feeling, what I'm thinking and feeling. We in our inner world is our thoughts and feelings, our actions and our results are in the outer world. Just to distinguish those two, it's a big deal. What we're working on is the inner world so that we can make a better outer world, peace wise and every other way. Um, as you probably know, a lack of emotional intelligence, like I was saying, one of the biggest problems in the world is causing a bunch of social issues, like that are getting worse, that are bad and getting worse, as you probably know. I don't want to be Debbie Downer here, but there's some bad stuff going on. There's violence, there's abuse, addictions are going up, suicide. Oh man, suicide is the worst of them. That is clearly a lack of emotional intelligence, right? People not saying, I can't deal with this, it's never going to end, I'm stuck here, this is awful, and I'm out of here. That's just, we know a bunch of people, 6 7 people in our, just in our little dinky 5,000 people in our town. We know 7, I think it is, people that are now gone, and one of them was a good friend of mine. And man, that just tears me up, and it motivates me to say, hey, this is really important, you guys. We need to be able to deal with our thoughts and feelings, or it does not go well. So divorce is going up, mental health issues are going up, physical health problems. They've now connected emotions with physical health. If you don't deal with your emotions, you're going to get sick, you're going to have stuff happen to you that your body can't handle that stuff for very long. And so you got to deal with it sometimes, somehow, please. Crime, of course, and war. Jeez, I don't even want. Don't get me started on that one. Anyway, so we're back on. We're on acceptance, right? We're born with our feelings intact. Our thoughts are developed as we go, right? We have feelings, but we don't. The little girls, they don't have too many thoughts to start with. Like the little one, Lily Mae is her name. They just turned 1. She watches. You could see her just sucking things in. It's so cool. She'll just sit and stare and watches her big sister and watches us play and watches her mom, and she's watches, and you see her developing these thoughts. Well, they weren't there before. She's making them, right, as she grows up, which is really cool. The good news about that is that she's creating them, which means for you that you create your thoughts. That's what I want to get a point across. This is super, super important. If you don't take anything away from this, remember this one thing: your thoughts, your feelings, your decisions, your actions, your moods, your attitudes, your values, your belief system, all that stuff, they're yours. They're yours. You made them up. You made them up as you went along. So if they're not working for you, or they don't feel good and you don't want them anymore, change them. You can change them because you made them. You made them. That's really good news. So, like I said, emotional responsibility is what I call it. It's one of the most important things that I am talking about. It's the most important thing that I'm talking about, actually. If you want to be in control of your life, take emotional responsibility. Every one of your thoughts, every one of your feelings are yours. You made them. That's good, good, good news. That is super good news, you guys. No one makes us think or feel anything emotionally without our permission. I can make you feel something physically without my permission, without your permission, but I cannot make you feel something. Nobody makes you angry. Nobody hurts your feelings. You do that. You do that, and you take it that way, and therefore you have some thoughts about what just happened, and then you get mad, or you get hurt, or you get sad, right? And you did that. That's good. That's good. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm saying that just take responsibility for it and know that you did that, and so you can change it if you want to, if it's not working for you. So we are in control of our own lives. It's great news, you guys. Great news. We can't always control what's going on outside, but we can control what's going on inside. I'm not saying we can control every single thought and feeling. That's not reasonable, but we can manage them. We can have a yucky thought and we can go, you know what? I don't like that thought. That's not, no, I don't like that thought. I'm going to have a different thought. I'm going to change it. I call it spin it to win it. You adjust your thoughts, and then guess what? You'll probably feel better. You'll probably feel better. So This may be the best news you ever hear. It was for me. It was a life changer for me. That's what got me into this in the first place. Was I started to go. I felt very, very out of control when I was little. We moved a whole bunch in the military, and I lost friends and over and over and over again and that sort of thing. And I didn't feel like I had any control of my life. Once I realized that this is about thoughts and feelings, and that it's my inner world that I felt like I didn't have control over, I was like, oh, woo, yes. Now we're talking. Now I got some control. Now I'm the boss of me. That's a wonderful thing. I can make myself feel better or worse or whatever, but it's up to me. It's not them. It's not the pandemic. It's even with COVID's, right? I can be sick and not be unhappy about it. Pretty cool. My body is physically not feeling very well, but that doesn't mean that my emotions have to be a mess. It's harder. Granted, it's harder, but it's still up to me. So that's good news. Good news. So if you accept it, and you accept how important this stuff is, emotional intelligence is a key. And this is my opinion. You can't prove this, but I say emotional intelligence is the key to happiness. It's certainly the key to sanity. I mean, it's a key to dealing with our stuff, and being able to manage, being able to handle stuff, being able to get through our day, be able to be nice and be loving anyway, that kind of thing. That's all up to me. And that's all up to me. So emotional intelligence is the key to our happiness, our sanity, and our success in life. Since I've been much more successful since I learned about my emotions, and since I study them so much, I most of the things I do, I'm successful at. Not all of them. You can ask my wife, but mostly better, because in my opinion, I can look at things from different points of view. I can understand both my logic and my emotional side. I can make better decisions, blah blah blah, etc. So I can be more successful. And studies after study has shown actually that people with higher emotional intelligence can make more money. They stay in their jobs longer. They get promoted faster. They actually live longer. Check that out. Actually live longer. Wild, huh? So conclusion: emotions matter more than you ever imagined, more than we ever imagined. Emotions matter. They matter. And notice the first four letters of that one. Anyway, and safety is a key to this whole thing. Emotional safety is a key. If you make it safe for yourself first, right? We judge our emotions most of the time. We put ourselves down for feeling stuff. We try to shut ourselves up when we're having emotions, that kind of thing. And we are sometimes verbally abusive to ourselves inside of our own little mind about our emotions. That's not cool. Don't do that. Don't do that. Acceptance, you don't have to like it, but you do need to accept it. So acceptance does not mean approval. One another of Doc's sayings: acceptance does not mean approval. I can accept that something's happening, like the war and the gas prices are unbelievable, and that we're having a heat wave all over the country, that kind of stuff. I can accept that. I don't have to like it. I don't have to like it, and I can maybe do something about it. But I think I need to accept it. We can't not think, and we can't not feel. So accept that we should get good at those, both of those. So third is action. So once we're aware of stuff and we accept, especially responsibility for it, then we can do something about it, or not, but we can do something about it. And it's a lot has to do with balancing our both sides of our brain. Our left brain is our logic, our knowledge, and our skill, our information that we learned is really important, that things make sense. It's really important to us that things make sense. We're pretty good at that. We're not so good at the right brain side of our emotions. So we need to balance them. We need to bring our emotional skills up to match our cognitive skills. In my opinion, that's what we've been teaching for a long time. It seems to be working good. I'm not saying that one's better than the other. I'm saying they both matter a lot, and we got to get good at both of them and balancing those, and that's an action. So I'm going to I'm gonna do that. Here's my little guy. That one guy has good IQ but not much EQ, and if he takes off, he's gonna spin around and not get too far. But the guy that's got both IQ and EQ, he can take off and fly and soar. I have fun with it. So balance is a key. Does it make sense when you were making decisions? Does this make sense? Bum 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 bum. Does this A plus B equals C? Does this make sense? And and does it feel good and feel right to us? Both. So both. It needs to make sense and feel right. Example of some things make a lot of sense, but they feel awful. Some things feel really like addictions, for example. Addictions, right? Wow, that feels really good. That doesn't make any sense. What are you doing? What are you doing to yourself? What are you doing to your body? What are you doing to your life? What are you doing? That doesn't make any sense. But man, it feels good. So we want to balance those, because sometimes they get out of balance pretty quickly, if you want to make responsible decisions. All right, so let's do a quick quiz, shall we? I'm sorry I'm going so fast, but I've got so much information, and it's tough to sum it all up. So let's do a quick quiz. I'm going to give you 7 questions. Each one has 5 possible answers, and it's just a rating, 1 through 5. Rate yourself 1 through 5. 1 is nuh-uh. 3 is 5 is definitely. All right. So it just rate yourself 1 through 5, 5 being the highest. And I'm just going to ask you some questions about how you deal with your emotions, how the steps in dealing with your emotion. I like this quiz because it not only shows you how good you are at it, but it shows you the steps to doing it. So take note of that as well, if you would. So get out a pencil or get a notepad out or whatever, and you could type you're just keeping track of 1 through 5 7 times, and then we'll add them up at the end. Okay, so first, awareness, right? First is awareness. So when your body feels something like fear, anger, sadness, shame, guilt, etc., how well do you notice and become aware of your feelings? How aware are you of your feelings? Bottom line. 1, not at all. 5, excellent, right? So give yourself a number, 1 through 5. 2, acceptance. All right. Is it okay with you? Do you accept? Are you okay with you when you have a feeling, when you feel mad or sad or afraid? How well do you accept your feelings versus judging or denying them? How good are you at that? 5 is excellent. 1 is not so good. All right. So acceptance. All right. Third, identification, right? This is the name it to tame it thing. When you notice that you're feeling something, how well can you identify the feeling you're having? How well can you separate and name your feelings? For example, fear versus anger, especially in guys, they come at it like they look really angry, but it's actually fear that's underneath it. That kind of thing. So how good are you at being able to identify what you're actually feeling, not what you kind of are feeling, and not what you're feeling to mask your real feelings, but how good are you at feeling, at identifying your real feelings in yourself? It's in you. Nobody needs to know or cares, but you need to know about you. So identification is third. 4, question 4, expression. All right. So I'm aware, I accept, I can identify it, and now I can express it. How well do you express your feelings and let them out of your body? We keep negative emotions in our body. How well can you express them, get out of your body, as opposed to stuffing them down inside and bottling them up? How good are you at expression? It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. Again, it's simple, right? If you're really sad, let yourself cry, and you'll feel so much better. You'll feel so much better, right? Real simple. Not so easy. Not so easy. Next, release. Okay, once you do express, some people get mad, and then they 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 get mad, and then they're still mad. They never let go of it. With the key to positive mental health is, if you're going to get mad, then go ahead and get mad in positive ways, or just do it by yourself or whatever. Let your body feel how angry you are, and then let it go, and then let it go. If you just keep getting mad and mad and mad over and over again, you're going to fall apart. It's awful. I used to do that all the time. A lot of people get stuck in that cycle. Okay, I'm expressing, and now I'm expressing again. No, release. You got to let go of it. So rate yourself. Once your body feels a negative, unpleasant feeling, how well are you at letting go of that feeling and let it dissipate? Super important skill. Fantastic. It'll change your life. If you can be upset and let yourself be upset for a minute and then let it go, man, right? It's the difference between complaining and venting. Complaining is venting is ooh, get it out of your body, not onto anybody else. You don't have to break anything or hurt anybody. You don't, in the United States, people tend to go shoot a bunch of people when they're mad. You don't have to do that. You don't have to shoot yourself either. You just are mad. Just be mad for a minute and then let it go. Let it out of your body. It might be in your back, in your neck, in your shoulders, in your hands, whatever it is. You find the anger and feel the anger and then let it go. Let it go. So release is number 5. Okay, once you let go, right? Say it's in your back or your neck or whatever, and you let go of that pain and that anger that you had, there's a space in there. So, how skilled are you at replacing your negative feelings like fear, anger, and sadness with positive feelings like love and peace and joy? If you are mad for a minute and you let yourself be mad and you let it go, there becomes a space in there. You then fill that up or you allow it to fill up, either one you want to do, with something nice, with nice stuff. You keep that same, the space is still there. You just fill yourself up. And sometimes we do in our workshops we do open your top chakra, which is your number one on top of your head, and you allow energy in from your higher power, and you pick a like a color if you like, or like beautiful. I'm looking out the window. We live in the woods, so there's green everywhere. The redwoods and eucalyptus, there's green everywhere, and so this beautiful green, you can let that come into your body or fill yourself up with that, or a light blue or a yellow, whatever you want, kind of thing. And again, totally free, much as you want, anytime you want, do it. Let yourself fill back up with beautiful stuff. So that's called replace. So last question. Ta-da! Rejoice. How well do you encourage and respect your true feelings, complimenting yourself for your awareness, your expression, and your release? So that's part of it, is being able to. I do this thing where you put your arm out like this out in front of you, and then with the hand down, and then you turn it over and you bend at the elbow and you pat yourself on the back. All right. Nobody needs to see or what. So anyway, so how good are you at rejoicing and just being and complimenting yourself and encouraging yourself to deal with whatever you need to deal with, because it's not easy, and sometimes you're like, wow, that was pretty cool. How's it going? It becomes things like self-esteem and self-confidence and self-trust, that kind of thing. So pretty cool. If you can deal with your feelings, even the tough stuff, then you go, hey, I could, wow, that's pretty cool. I can deal with that. Way to go, dude. Way to go. Nice going. Anyway, so add them up. They are, let me go through them real quick again. Awareness first, always. Acceptance. Yeah, I'm feeling that. Identification. Okay, I'm feeling that. All right. And I'm feeling it. It's in my body. I can express it and release it and replace it and rejoice about it. So those are the 7 steps. So add them up, see what you got. Obviously, higher is better, quote unquote. If you need more information, we got tons of that on how to do emotions and how to deal with this. So if you want to increase your score, learn more about you. So what do you want to do different because of the score that you got? How'd you do, etc. Emotional safety is key to this whole thing. Make it safe for yourself and find people that are safe in your life. This is kind of off topic, but it's stop generational trauma. This is one of my big things. We in our workshops that we've been teaching for 30 bunch of years, we deal with our inner child work. We deal with the core of when we started feeling what we feeling, like at 3 and 4 and 5 years old, and dealing with, when the first time you got upset and then didn't deal with it, and it's either still in your body or you shut yourself off, or you told yourself that was not cool because it wasn't, because your parents told you wasn't, that kind of thing. And we most parents try to be the best parents that they can, but some fail miserably and some are just mean, just plain old mean. And so it starts going downhill. So I'm showing a graphic of the grandpa is yelling at the dad's yelling at the kid or the son, and the son goes, wait a minute. The son, being an adult now, says, wait a minute, I'm not going to keep that cycle going on to my kids. So he's got a shield up and going, no, I'm not putting that negative crap on my kids. I'm going to do it different. So he's telling his kids, I'm proud of you. I love you. You're wonderful, kind of thing. And so he's changing it. And that's what you got to do if you are just learning this. It's like I said, simple, not easy, not at all easy, because you're going to have pictures in your head. You're going to have sounds in your head. You're going to have your dad's voice and your mom's voice and your teacher's voice and stuff that is yucky. And you're going to want to do it that way. Don't. Don't. And that's the tough part. You got to do it different, do it better. So uh, purposeful positivity, that means consciously spin it to win it, change it so that you can be positive on purpose. Exaggerate enthusiasm. That just means like this: have fun. What it is if I can deal with my negatives, then I can have more fun. I can have more positives. I can be more open. I can have a podcast and yell at you guys and act like this and potentially be rejected and all that. And I can risk that. I can risk more, because if it doesn't go well, I'll handle it. It's okay. It's okay. Well, it's not okay. It's not great, but I will handle it. And it is okay. Because if I can deal with my negatives, then I can risk more. I can be more open. I can be more loving. I can talk to people I don't even know, which I do all the time now. I can be more. I can exaggerate myself. I don't need to be shut down and hide like I used to. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not willing to do that anymore. So, and that's about learning how to deal with my negatives. I can have more positives. Exercise optimism. That's a 6 seconds competency. Is I practice optimism on purpose, positivity and optimism on purpose. Inner peace begins the moment you choose not to allow another person or event to control your emotions. They can affect your emotions and they can have some input on your emotions, but they don't control your emotions. You do that. And that is how, if you knowing that you can do that and how to do that, allows you to be in charge of you. And that makes me much more peaceful than I used to be. So commit to yourself. Are you willing to make a commitment to yourself to learn more about you and that? Are you at least become aware of yourself, at least do the awareness part, at least, and acceptance, actually, because when you're aware of it, you got to accept them right away, or it gets ugly. So do awareness and acceptance at least, and then you can figure out what actions to take or not take afterward. Find a buddy that is doing this work also, if you can. Accountability partner, I call it. It's also called a peace partner or a battle buddy, depending on what you need. But make some connections and find somebody else that's doing this as well. And someday I would like to create a place where we can match people up so that they can work on these things together. I don't have that yet, but there are places that you can do that. And basically find someone else that's safe for you in your life, that will listen to you and will not judge you, and you can deal with your emotions, your negative stuff. Just deal with them. It's way easier with somebody else. You can do it alone. My wife and I have an argument about that. Like, can you do all this? Can you heal yourself alone, all by yourself? She says, I don't know, because you'd fool yourself, because you've told yourself the same thing for years and years. And it's really hard, and it's definitely harder. So find somebody else. Can be done alone. It's harder, but it can be done. So emotions are teachable skills. You can learn about your emotions. They're simple but not easy. We get hired for our IQ, but we keep our jobs or get promoted for our EQ. Actually, I still have a day job, and I've been there 10 years. In a couple weeks will be my 10-year anniversary, which is pretty cool. And I guarantee that I am still there because of my emotions, not because I'm such a brainiac, because I ain't. I ain't. But anyway, learn about your EQ. You have the power to open your heart or close your heart. That's one of the best EQ skills there is. And it's wonderful for mental health, is that I don't have to be wide open and let people trash me all the time. I can close things up when I need to and protect myself. And then when the danger has passed, I can open back up and be loving and happy and gentle and peaceful again. And that's up to me every time. It's up to me every time. I think this is the most practical subject there is. 24/7, 365. We have thoughts and we have feelings. Every single moment of every day for the rest of our days, we're going to have thoughts and feelings. So I strongly suggest we get good at both of those. So takeaways from this. Emotional responsibility. First, like I said, they're your thoughts, your feelings. Own them. Take ownership of your own self. 2, commit to learn more about yourself, about your thoughts and feelings and emotions, your inner world. Learn about how to do that, what it is, and what's going on there. And please share it. So I call it each one, teach one, which just means share what you've learned, because most people don't know, and they're never going to know. Here's some ways we can connect on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube channel, and WhatsApp. I've been using a lot lately because we're working with many people. Most of the people I work with are not in the United States. WhatsApp is the Facebook of the world, the rest of the world. And so it's a great little app. It's just like Facebook, similar. So anyway, we're on there. Let me know. Let me know what you need. And this is our nonprofit, EQ4Peace.org. EQ4Peace.org is our nonprofit, and we can stay connected there. So EQ4Peace.org/connect. I have some other links like this that I will put into Facebook and LinkedIn underneath the recording for this, and so you can check those out when you're done. So it didn't exist until now, so I couldn't do it beforehand, but I'll do it afterward. So that's it. Thank you for listening. Please learn more about yourself and your emotions, and talk to other people about it, and learn about how positive mental health can help you all day, every day, get by and get better. You don't have to just survive. We can thrive. So thank you, guys. Bye. See you next week.
You've been listening to Pathways to Peace, creating peace inside and around us with emotional intelligence, EQ, with your host, Matt Perelstein. Thank you for your positive reviews, comments, and sharing this show with others. You can catch prior episodes at www.eqforpeace.org and on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more.